Hey, Kyler here. Our aim for this show is to leverage every opportunity that life throws at us. I hope you find value in today's show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Leverage Life Show, where our aim is to throw a dart right in the bullseye of what it looks like to leverage every single opportunity that comes our way and your way. Special episode today. We're back in person. Up top,
Let's
we
go.
can actually high five in person and not over a separate call. These episodes are always so much better when Kyler and I get to record face to face, because you think about it, a cup of coffee is so much better over the table at your favorite coffee shop than it is over a virtual coffee, as some people call it. Some people hate that, by the way, a virtual meeting or virtual coffee. No, we love being in person, talking to you live, and we're so pumped that you're joining us today. Kyler, I'm trying out a new trend. What do you think of the ankle socks with the Travis Matthews shoes, Peter
Jeez.
Millar shoes? It's kind of a trend right now. I'm normally a long sock person, but it really completes the whole vibe. What do you think?
I do it myself, so I'm okay with it. So.
You got to have it all in place. I mean, when you're putting something together, you got to look good to play good. We used to say that in baseball all the time. It's really the whole ensemble. You got to have everything right, perfectly structured to make it look the way it needs to look, which launches us into today's idea of the right team, the right structure, everything in place at the right time so that it functions the way it is supposed to function. And today we're going to specifically talk about and dive into the ins and outs of the whole team that's in play in premium finance, who's involved, and take a look into the ILIT structure, the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust aspect, and when it might come into play in a premium finance case. So I'll frame it this way for you. Think about the last major deal you closed. We're working with real estate investors. We're working with business owners, people who are consistently doing acquisitions all the time. They are no strangers to the deal room. They're no strangers to sales. They're no strangers to people who are in the game, in the trenches, making deals, negotiation. But it's rarely a solo effort, is it, Kyler?
No, never is.
Never a solo effort. There's a whole team in place. And say, maybe you're even the business owner. Maybe you go into the room and you're the one making the final decision at the end of the day. The decision maker, you might call yourself. Are there other people on your team that help the deal maker do their job, that are helping you underwrite the whole process, helping you underwrite the multifamily building that you're trying to acquire and put into your portfolio? Of course, there are people who have different skills in every single operation on a team that they run in their lane, and quite frankly, they do it really well. And the best leaders hire people that are better than them at other things so that they can stay in their lane. And Kyle and I even see it with ourselves. We are both good at different things. So we function most healthy when we get to lead at full capacity in what we're best at.
Mm-hmm.
Every team has it. And that's why, as we even just frame this whole episode, the right team, the right structure, the right strategy is everything we're after. And in a premium finance case, we do our part really well. The CPA does their part really well. The estate attorney does their part really well. The financial advisor does their part really well. You do your part really well as the business owner or the real estate investor. We are all collaborating to make sure nothing falls through the cracks and nothing actually, falls off the table. So it's structured right.
Absolutely. And I feel like, Kord, what our continued listeners are going to hear is the same type of topics that are coming up over and over and over again. And it's the aspect of collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
We have to collaborate with different professionals. And like you mentioned, we've got estate attorneys that we work with. We have CPAs, we have certified financial planners, advisors, different people that we work with. And it takes a team to be able to make something like this work out exactly how it's supposed to work out. And we've said this before, we see the times when somebody wears multiple hats, things don't work out the way they need to work out because people don't understand the individual nuances of individual professions and industries. And so we have to get that stuff very specifically. We have to get that right on the front end to make sure that we can advise our clients in the best way possible. So, Kord, like you said, we're going to talk about the ILIT structure today. An Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust is what it's called. And I was actually sitting down with the estate attorney the other day, and we were talking through this. And he had done several in the past for people. And of course, you talk to any estate attorney, they're going to have some probably working knowledge of an ILIT. Of course, there's a multiple excuse me, there's different variations of trusts, of course, but for life insurance and premium finance, this is a very common one that people use. If you're serious about making smart decisions with your money and protecting the people who matter most, this is where clarity starts. The reality is most people don't lack options. They lack clear strategy that actually fits their life. At the Leverage Life Show, we help individuals and families understand what makes sense for your situation, whether that's life insurance, final expense planning, or more advanced strategies like bank premium financing. If you want to take the next step with confidence, text SHOW to 479-396-3528. We'll help you get clear before you make a decision. Now let's get back to the show. Historically, the reason people would do this in premium finance is to use an ILIT structure is because it takes the life insurance and the policy outside of your taxable
Mhm.
estate. Now, we need to really think about what that does. If we have a premium finance case and the death benefit is 15, 20, 25,
Mhm.
$50 million, think about what that happens to estate taxes. Okay. So estate taxes, the threshold for that is changed, right? As the current moment, we're in 2026, right? It's 15 million for individuals, 30 million for married couples. That's not going to apply to a lot of people. However, laws can change,
Mhm.
right? So it was 5 million before. Who's to say that laws, they can change and that can drop back down
Mhm.
$5-6 million. So that's going to expose a lot more people to estate taxes. But if you have a life insurance policy and their heirs get this amount of money, the 20, $25 million, and that's inside of their taxable estate, now you've got to
Mhm.
pay estate taxes over that threshold of whatever that difference is. And that could be astronomical for the family. And so, what we need to be able to do is take that
Mhm.
outside of the person's taxable estate to make sure that the family heirs aren't going to be having to pay estate taxes or just tax in general on the life insurance policy. And so, it's very, very important to be able to do that and very powerful depending on the person. Of course, they have different net
Mhm.
worths, but historically, that's the reason you would use an irrevocable life insurance trust to do that. And there's different nuances of why you would use that for certain people. Some people don't want to do that, and there's just different reasons for
Mhm.
that. Sometimes there's some difficulties pulling out, tax-free retirement income if the policy is owned by an ILIT, because you are basically saying you don't own the policy. It's separate from your
Mhm.
personal life essentially, and so there's different reasons, like I would say, because everyone's just different. A younger person is probably going to have the ability to benefit from tax-free retirement income
Mhm.
because they have that time horizon to allow that cash value to grow into a point where they can actually do that. So I'm going to go back to the collaborative
Mhm.
portion for a second. So we said we have estate planning attorneys, we have
Mhm.
CPAs, CFPs that we'll work with, and I really want to make sure that everybody knows. And we talked about this before. We are not any of those people.
I don't wanna be any of
I
those
don't
people.
want to be one of those people. Think about it, Cord. We played golf yesterday. I like my springs to play golf, and if I was a CPA,
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I would have that
Nope. Nope.
because they're in the trenches of tax season, right? So, shout out to all my CPA
Mhm.
friends. We love you guys. You guys are awesome.
You keep
But
doing you.
you keep doing you. I don't want to do that. I want to go play golf. But we say that, in kind of a joking way, but it's serious. Like everyone has their role, everyone has their lane. You have to understand the nuances of each industry and how that plays a factor into these premium finance cases. And it takes a village to make
Mhm.
sure that this thing works correctly. So, Cord, let's just kind of recap all that kind of stuff again. An ILIT is going to take the life policy outside of your taxable estate.
Mhm.
Okay, that's number one. And number two, you have to collaborate with a team to make sure this works correctly.
Yeah. And one thing I'll add on the outside the taxable estate too. I mean, people use that for the very specific reason that you're creating immediate liquidity upon death for your family. So,
Hmm.
say if you're solving an estate tax problem, and yes, that could likely change. There was a competing bill to the one big beautiful bill that would change it back to 6 million, and I think it's changed 3 times since 2000. That horizon, and people keep saying it might sunset. I don't know if it will. There's a good chance in our lifetime it's going to change again. So that's going to bring in so many other people that are going to need immediate liquidity upon death. So if it's separate from the estate, okay, the IRS is going to come calling. You have 9 months after that death to either pay that bill to the IRS. And where's that money going to come from?
Hmm.
Are you going to force sell the real estate or liquidate a retirement account when you don't have to? No, what if you had immediate liquidity upon death? with the right structure, with the right team in place, all collaborating together to make sure it solves the problem that actually needs to be solved. And we say this all the time to clients. And I think it's a breath of fresh air for people that we talk to. We try to say, we are not going to try to solve a problem that you don't actually have. I feel like that's really refreshing for some people because, my background is being a pastor, the pastoral world. I would never sit down with somebody and try to fix a problem they didn't have or pray for something they didn't ask me to pray for. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't actually make sense to try to solve a problem that somebody doesn't have just for the sake of a sale
mhm,
or just for the sake of getting a new client.
mhm,
If somebody's trying to do that, those aren't the people we want to work with.
mhm,
And those aren't the people you want to work with in your business either. You want to hire somebody that can actually bring value to your team. So, as a collaborative effort, no one is an island. No man is an island. No one is a solo lobo. The Espanol version of saying the lone wolf. Maybe you're the DIY guy. You built up something from nothing and you've operated by yourself for a long time. I bet that got old after a while and you needed to start delegating at some point in time. And you wanted to hire the right people. And we want to hire rock stars. We want to hire people that are better than us, other 5-star people that can actually help us out on our team because no man is an island. No man operates by themselves that long for that well without something falling through the cracks. So, collaborative effort, right team, right place. We all the time are coming alongside other people's CPAs, other people's estate attorneys. And just like you said, Kyler, we're not drafting the ILIT. Maybe if somebody needs a connection we have, we can recommend somebody. But most of the time, that's your estate planner because they know your situation and they can see the whole thing on the table. And then we get to play the integral part of the life policy and how that's actually funded in the process too for the wealth transfer conversation, which cues up the question of, okay, let's say everything goes right. You plan ahead, you think ahead, the right team is in place, the right structure is in place. You didn't wait to prove your insurability. You handled it at the right time, at the right season in your life. Kyler, what would it look like for the right structure to actually be put in place, given the ILIT conversation, the
mhm,
Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, or maybe to work alongside some of these other people in a
mhm.
collaborative effort?
Yeah, so there's really, I mean, from our perspective, there's two different lanes that either we will get people or we will give people to other
Hmm.
people, like estate attorneys. So I'm going to talk to the first one where if we got a referral from an estate attorney or a CPA, they know they have a high net worth client that they're saying, hey, this type of structure, this program, this policy could be beneficial for you for various reasons. So there's going to be that situation where they're going to be bringing somebody to us. Okay. We actually love to play that role, of course,
Hmm.
for various reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is those people that are advising these clients, they have that trust relationship. Like it's so strong already because
Hmm.
those people have already solved very specific problems for their clients. And so if we can come alongside the estate attorney, the CPA, the financial planner, and for them to say, hey, I've got a guy I want you to meet,
Hmm.
we can solve this specific problem with this. Think of the strong relationship we're going to now have with that client. We make it this very strong network that we're all working for the client. And so that's one of my favorite ways we can actually work with people because really, in a lot of sense, we're actually positioning the estate attorney, the CPA as the hero in the story
True.
because, I mean, excuse me, not the hero in the story, but they're going to be a very integral person in the client because the client is the hero in their own story, of course.
Hmm.
But we're positioning them as somebody that can solve a problem for their client base. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's very, very powerful to be able to blend multiple different professions together to be able to provide something and solve a problem for these clients. The other one, of course, is if we have a client that we have that doesn't have an estate attorney, they don't have
Hmm.
a CPA, they don't have maybe some people involved in their life on their financial side to be able to advise them on different aspects. So we can bring these people to the people that we collaborate with. Okay. So we have very specific people that we will actually collaborate with to make sure that we get these things done because we have the trust in these people. They have done them before. They know the nuances of these types of policies given their role, CPAs, estate attorneys. And so we've kind of got this two-way relationship street where
Mhm.
we will bring people, of course, to them. And that, of course, in a lot of ways that brings them business because that
Mhm.
allows them to be able to develop a relationship they wouldn't have had. But it does the same thing for us. They bring somebody to us, we can now develop a relationship with the client. And so it's this two-way street that we get to really collaborate with people. And so that's really the two things that we'll be able to see and how we can all work together in a lot of ways to make this work for everybody.
And it's all built on trust, all relationship driven. I mean, that's any good business at the end of the day, of course, but it brings us to a takeaway, a tangible for today, something to take with you. And I just want to hone in on that idea of trust. Kind of ironic. There might be a pun there. The Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust is built on trust. Maybe that's why they called it that back in the day. I don't know, but
I don't know when they started, but yeah,
I don't know.
that makes
But at some
sense.
point, it makes sense. And that's good business, right? I want to pitch a tangible to you today. I'll ask it this way: do your financial advisor, your estate attorney, your CPA, your life insurance specialist know who each other is? Have they ever been in the same room before or on the same call? Are the goals properly aligned? Most of the people that got to the 5 million threshold that we're capping at in the qualification arena for premium finance, kind of a DIY person, scrappy, really hardworking, and you've built a ton of wealth and you've gotten to where you are, and you kind of just threw some pieces along the way to solve problems as they came up. Yes, sometimes you forward thought and plan the problem ahead of time, but most of the time, if we're honest, I know we've kind of been this way too, it's just you solve the problems as they come. You put out fires as they come. But that's why we need to answer that tangible today. Have your players on the team been in the same room before so that the problems are being solved the way they're supposed to be solved? And that's where we really love to come in. We get everyone together. We collaborate with your estate planners, or if you don't have one, we'll recommend you some great ones that we trust that won't lie to you and won't try to solve a problem that you don't have either. Or we'll sit with your CPA and they're after tax efficiency and helping you out with your taxes and your personal finances and everything. And we're coming alongside them and saying, we're actually trying to solve the same problem. We're thinking long ahead, funding the life insurance, putting it outside the taxable estate to make sure that it solves the problem it's supposed to solve. So there's your tangible. Ask yourself, maybe you're that DIY person and you've put it all together. You've hit that, you know, 5 million threshold, 10 million threshold, or maybe you're even at one or two, but your horizon is going to get there pretty quickly. Do the people in your life that are solving the problems in your life know who each other is? Is there a quarterback behind the operation that puts all of the pieces together to where it actually makes sense for your estate? And if not, you should reach out. Should let us know or let your CPA know or your estate planner know that you found these two scrappy brothers on YouTube and stumbled across this channel, the Leverage Life Show, and something stuck out to you. And you know that's actually a crack and a problem in your estate that might need to be solved. And you don't want to go any longer without solving it because sadly, problems only get worse the longer we delay to solve them. That's your tangible today. Get everyone in the same room and ask that good question. But until next week, thank you so much for hopping on to the Leverage Life Show. We hope that we're bringing value to your estate planning and to your wealth transfer conversation from the life insurance side. And we can't wait to see you back on here next week.